Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to try on a full face of e.l.f. products. These are all very affordable products. There's some new stuff in there like the e.l.f. foundation, the e.l.f. concealer. These are things that I think most people will be interested in. So if you want to see how they look on my face, stay tuned. Quite excited to try some new makeup today. So okay, I'm going to start with the e.l.f. colour correcting stick. This isn't actually new, I've been using this for ages. It's not my favourite colour correcting stick. The colour's not right. It's a bit too bright orange and it's quite hard to work into the skin. I still prefer the older one, you know, the clicky pen that I showed you in my previous videos. It's more like the MAC one, Prep and Prime something colour corrector. That one I really liked, so I really wish e.l.f. would bring that back. But anyway, beggars can't be choosers. This is what we're using today. So I've never tried this foundation before. I think I've only tried one foundation from e.l.f. before, and that was their stick foundation, and I quite like that. Their shade range isn't brilliant. For this one, it's pretty good actually. This is the Flawless Finish foundation. You get 20 ml in here, so I think the normal is 30 ml. So this is a little bit smaller than the average. But I think he had good reviews online. I went for Suede. So this is medium tan with golden undertones. And you know how sometimes it's when you have a lot of shades available, it's quite hard to pick what you want. So it's a good problem in a way to have so many shades to pick from. It's got a pump, which is also very nice, handy. It looks, what does it look like? It looks like the NARS one, doesn't it? NARS or MAC, those kind of bottles. So it's a glass bottle, very premium feeling bottle, so nice one, e.l.f. What I'm going to do, I'll do one side with a brush and one side with a beauty blender. I'll start with one pump on my right side. Wow, that is a fragranced, what is it, my soap? Yeah, the foundation is fragranced. I quite like it. It's got kind of like a manly smell. I would say that's a medium building onto a full coverage foundation. So I kind of put 1.5, maybe 2 pumps on one side, which is a bit much. It would be nice to see 1 pump on one side, but that's covered everything really well. I quite like the shade. I think it matched me really well. Yeah, it's a bit tacky to the touch, but obviously I'm going to set with powder. Right now the shade is perfect for me. So if it gets more orange or deeper, might be in a bit of trouble, but I am happy with that. I would say it's like a satin finish. Very skin-like actually. We'll try this side with a brush. So I'm going to start with the 1 pump. Okay, so that's 1 full pump. I think I did like a half pump on this side, 2 half pumps, because that's 1 pump there. A little goes a long way. This kind of reminds me of the coverage of the Huda foundation. If you want full coverage, then you want 2 pumps on the whole face. Otherwise day-to-day coverage would be like 1 pump whole face. Yeah, I feel like I might have put too much on. That full pump on one side. What do you think? Both sides look really good. So you can't see any of the brush strokes when you use a brush. It looks flawless both sides. And I really like the finish of it because it's like a semi-matte satin finish. Just very skin-like. It doesn't look greasy and really obvious you've got a cake face. It's got the coverage without looking cakey. So far so good. I'm really happy with that. I know it's a small bottle, but it looks like a litre goes a long way, so yeah, I'm going to keep trying this and I'll keep you posted on what I think of it. Okay, so we're going to go in with the 16-hour Camo Concealer. This is the one that everyone's gone a bit crazy about. To be honest, I feel like everyone makes the comparisons simply because of the doe foot applicator, Tarte Shape Tape, Makeup Revolution concealer, and now this one. So if you want to make it big in the blogosphere, then I guess you have to come out with a doe foot applicator like this. Online, it had arm swatches of all the shades and what they look like wet and what they look like dry, and the dry ones like a completely different shade to the wet swatches. So it does oxidize. That's why it's going to look crazy when I put this colour on my face, but I'm counting on it to oxidize. So let's try this out. It's going to look hella crazy right now. Okay, second dip. I've never tried the Tarte Shape Tape one, so I can only compare it to the Makeup Revolution one. It's got that paint scent, very faint paint scent to it. I am counting on this to oxidize. Wow. So this is a 16-hour concealer. It feels very matte right now. Oh, I put too much on. This will be interesting. How do I save this? Well, it's full coverage, and I definitely should have put less on. I know how to fix this. Go back with the foundation brush. When are you going to oxidize? So there's a chance I might have got the shade wrong. I know it's supposed to oxidize, but it's not oxidizing as quickly as I thought. I'm going to have to put a bit more foundation on top. Forget the shade right now. The formula is really good. The coverage is brilliant. It's not creasing under my eyes, and we all know how bad the creasing is normally. It's a very matte feeling concealer. I'm really happy with this formula actually. It does take a bit of effort to blend simply because it's so matte. You know what, I think I'm going to fix it with powder later on anyway. Okay, so I'm going to move on to a face powder. This isn't a new product, this is one that I picked up before, and it was a recommendation from Kathleen Lights. So this is the Elf finishing powder in light medium. Okay, that's looking a lot better now. Moving on to bronzer, I picked up this Primer Infused bronzer. So this is a new product, and I'm going in with the same brush. I have no idea if this shade is going to work on my skin. It kind of looks like it might be a little bit on the light side, so I might just get a natural bronze. Quite powdery, this thing. I don't understand what the Primer Infused part of it is. It just feels like a really fine bronzer. It's not showing up on my skin. No, I'm building it up with a dense brush. So I obviously picked the wrong shade. It's starting to look a bit grey on me now. Can you see? Let's just carry on, shall we? So they obviously have other shades. I think they had this in 3 different shades. This one looks quite cool tone on me, verging on grey. So I didn't pick the right one. I wish there was a warmer, deeper shade. Again, I don't remember seeing a good range of shades for bronzers. And we've also got a Primer Infused blush. This one I picked up. It's kind of like a peachy goldy colour. It's got that two-tone. It kind of reminds me of the NARS Orgasm blush, but this is more of a peachy colour, whereas the other one is more pink. So it looks like it does have a sheen to it. So you've got to be careful if you have textured cheeks. It's not picking up too much on the brush. I'm pleasantly surprised because it's a buildable blush rather than being very pigmented and crazy. That's a hit. Okay, this product I'm really excited about. So this is the new e.l.f. highlighter. It's a 24K gold highlighter. It looks amazing. The texture in the pan looks amazing. The shade looks just like what I would be into. Just swatching it right now though, and it looks like quite a natural highlight. It's not one of those blinding highlights. It does look good, but it's not as intense as I was expecting, but we're going to go with it because it's nice to have a variety of highlights instead of just going for the standard blinding type. This is the Morphe Y14 brush. Okay. You can see all the texture on my skin, and it's taking 5 years to build this up. Bit of a letdown. You probably need to wet this highlighter, I would say, unless you've got 5 years to spare to put your highlight on. Look at that. I'm really swirling it in there. Okay, I didn't think my skin was that textured, but apparently so. Not my favourite highlight, I must say. It's just, it's got like specks in it. It's not like a smooth highlight. It's just bitty. I think it's one of those where just use one layer of it with a light hand. That's your base highlight, and then put a more intense highlight on top. Probably not one to build up. I don't like the way it looks when it's really built up. I definitely feel like I have to use a setting spray to fix this now. That's a shame because I was really looking forward to that highlight. Okay, one thing I always forget about this stuff, is brows. So I picked up a brow gel. This is called Wow Brow. I've never had a coloured brow gel before. I've only had the clear stuff. So this should be interesting. It would be nice because my eyebrows they don't need much filling in anyway. So some days I just put on clear brow gel and that's it. So it'd be nice to have this one step where you add a bit of fullness and it sets the brow in place. Do you notice a difference? Very subtle if it's there. I feel like there's hardly any product on it. I just rubbed it onto my hand. It's hard because obviously I've got quite full brows anyway. Oh, I can definitely see it now. It's good. I think I quite like it because I don't use coloured brow gels, and this is good for a beginner because you can undo your mistakes quite easily. It's not crazy dark. They've got a good range. I think they've got like 4 shades of this, but you might have to go in twice, so if you've got the time for it, then great. It's not bad, you know. Actually, I didn't have a great first impression of it, but then as you go in the second coat, I think it's good, the fact that it's buildable rather than being harsh and one and done straight away. Eyes. Now this palette, I actually got it as a gift with purchase. It's one of these baked eyeshadow palettes. I never would have picked this up because it's not the kind of colours that I would use, and I'm not into these kind of palettes where they're baked and they're all shimmer shades. So I understand you have to wet these to really get the payoff. We're going to try dry first. So I'm going to go in with this dark brown shade up here. I'm going to try this bronzy shade this time. Okay, so nothing's coming off. Where is the pigmentation, love? Right, so I literally went and picked up a little bowl of water that I'm going to dip my brush into. I feel like I'm painting now. This is actual painting. Has anyone used e.l.f. baked shadows before? And if you have... Oh, hello. Yeah, that's what I've been doing wrong then. If they didn't come to life after wetting them, I would be throwing this in the bin right now. Okay, that saved it. I'm going to go in with this darker grey brown. It's also a shimmer. And just put it in the outer and inner corners with a smaller brush. Doesn't really matter if it's looking messy right now because I'm going to blend it out later. On the plus side, the intensity is crazy good when you wet it. Okay, and blend with a clean brush. I'm going to go in with that one matte brown that I found. Push that into the crease. It's not the best eye look I've ever done. And it's not your typical bronzy gold eye palette. There's like a silvery violet shade here. They've got this silver shade over here, like a gunmetal colour. So they have packed quite a bit in a small palette. I'm getting some of that bronzer and then I'm going to run it under the lash line as well. And then for highlight, my inner corner and my brow bone, I guess it's that one. Bit too sparkly for brow bone. I might use that 24K highlight instead. That's the eyes done, face done, just the lips to go. Unfortunately, I don't have a brand new lipstick to use, and with all this dark dramatic eye going on, I'm going to go in with a pink gloss. Didn't really go with what I'm doing here. Let's go for a different option. Oh my god, I forgot mascara. Let's try this mascara. So again, this was a gift with purchase as well. Weird looking wand with short stubbly plastic lashes. I would never in a million years pick this mascara. I always like the long bristles. And this has got a ball on the end of it as well. It's not picking up product nicely. It's so hard to get to the inner lashes with this stupid ball. I feel like it's doing nothing. It's doing nothing. Just short, stubby plastic bristles. What are they going to do? No, no, no. Don't like it. All the product goes to the ball bit at the end. And it's like there's nothing down here. No, this is going in the bin. Right, back to the lipstick. I only have two bold lipstick options to choose from. These are the liquid matte lipsticks. And I have Wine Tour or Berry Sorbet. I think I'm going to go with Wine Tour. Doesn't go with what I'm wearing, but right, so that has been my full face of e.l.f. makeup. I'm quite happy with the way the eyeshadow has turned out actually. It does take a lot of work. I think it's definitely a palette that you would pair with another matte palette. The shimmers are good only if you wet them. You need to have like a tub of water handy. So yeah, look at it, does make a bit of a mess as well when you start painting. You really do feel like an artist, dipping in the water, swirling your brush in there, getting the paint everywhere. But yeah, it did get the results I wanted on the eyes. But it's not something that I would pick up. Like I wouldn't choose to pick up this palette. I'll make it work. This mascara is going straight in the bin right now. I did not like that. I like the blush. It was very buildable. It's not too intense, it's not too intimidating, so I was quite happy with that. The highlight I was quite disappointed by. I think I haven't used a setting spray, but if I did, I think this would look a little bit better. Yeah, so the formula isn't the best, which is quite disappointing. It just doesn't feel soft, it just feels quite dry. I mean, obviously it's a powder, but it doesn't have that soft, creamy feeling. It's just very dry and it just sits on top of your skin. So that's the highlight. The bronzer, it's my own fault. I picked up the wrong shade, but it feels nice on the skin. A little bit on the powdery side, but it did blend nicely. I just think I would have to pick up a different colour. So if you're my shade, don't get Forever Sunkissed. The finishing powder, I had this before. I quite like this. It's a good quality finishing powder. and it definitely saved the day, you know, that issue that I had with the concealer. This concealer is actually really good. The shade was completely wrong for me. That's my own fault, but the formula I really like. So I picked up light beige. It's really tricky to pick up the right shade for yourself, because looking at the diagram, me getting all scientific, looking at the picture that they have of the arm swatches, what they look wet and dry, you'll see they look completely different dry. And based on those swatches, I ended up getting light beige. So I'm going to have to go for a couple of shades deeper than that. And again, it's hard to get the right undertone. For me, I want to get like a golden warm undertone. There was a lot of like neutral pinky undertone shades there. Although e.l.f., obviously they have their website, they're available in Superdrug, so you could try them out there. Superdrug doesn't carry the full range of e.l.f. products though, so I don't know if they have newer products like this. I feel like I thought I picked out the right shade, then I saw the arm swatches, that threw me completely, and then they ended up with beige. Like, when does that ever happen? Foundation, I am really happy with this. Happy with the shade, happy with the coverage, the finish, the bottle, the packaging, the pump. All round, this is probably my favourite product of today. Yeah, so if there's one thing you have to pick up and you're looking for a new foundation, I would say try this. I have dry skin, and this is like a semi-matte satin finish. I did powder on top, it's looking good. I can definitely touch my skin without being scared that it's gonna come off. Like, I could hug someone and not be scared, oh, my makeup's gonna come off on there. I'm really happy with this. I'm kind of 50-50 on this. It did eventually give my brows some definition. I don't know, I think someone who has very sparse brows will probably like this, but then you have to go in a couple of times to build it up. I'm definitely going to use it. I'm just a bit on the fence about this right now. Obviously, the colour correcting stick, I love this. I love it. Do I love it? I only like it because there's nothing else out there for me to try. Can somebody suggest a good peachy orange colour correcting stick or something? I started off way back in the day using the Vasanti one. Did anyone ever try that one? Where it came with two shades. So it came with the orangey one and the peachy one. It was concealer, corrector combined. And I ended up just using one side of it, and I don't want that. I don't want to waste product. This is a drugstore product. It's affordable. The shade is a bit off. The texture is a bit off. But I can make it work. So that's why I would still buy this again. And then the lipsticks, I mean, it's not spring appropriate. And I did buy these a while ago. But they feel quite nice on the lips. They're comfortable. Very slight transfer. They're not like powdery, there's like a velvety finish to it. I have really bad textured lips, like I've got cracks here and there, and it doesn't emphasize them, so that's good. And the lip gloss was great. It's just, again, I need a lip liner with this, and I haven't got an e.l.f. lip liner to use, so I didn't use that today. So that is it, my mini reviews, my first impressions on a full face of e.l.f. makeup. Hope you enjoyed. I'm thinking to do, I've got a bunch of makeup dupes, if you like, off eBay. So I'm going to be trying out some eBay makeup, hopefully, in the next one. So make sure you're subscribed for that, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.